development. It talks about a framework on how to approach shared use of mining-related infrastructure. Write it down. I would advise you to go and read it. Don't just read World Bank. Read other things. It helps. The more you read, the more you realize how ignorant you are. So, I would advise you to go and read. The elephant in the room, which I saw people clapping, the pilgrimage. I went on due diligence because I did it on behalf of the country. I took my technical staff, legal staff, went there. Again, if you want to share all the reports with you, it was to ensure that we get the best investors who come to this country. For so long, we've had fly-by-night investors who will come here probably just mortgage a keke or okada, and they see the investors, and we're happy to chaperone them. So, when you ask who pays for that, you know, we've just updated the Mines and Minerals Act to Mines and Minerals Development Act 2022. I'm still familiarizing myself with all the various clauses. But in the 2009 Act, there's a section on large-scale mining called Obligations and Rights. I cannot say exactly which one, but it's there. When you want the government to assist in due diligence and to understand your mine plan, your financial plan, the onus is on you. Imagine you decide to put that responsibility on the government. Somebody will say, oh, my documents, I left it in Australia. You fly there and never see it. Where's the government going to get money to build schools and hospitals? So the onus is always on the investor who has to prove his case. How solid their financial model is, how solid their business plan is. And most times that puts the responsibility on them to make sure that, there are no repeated trips. It's not a pleasure trip. And that have been accused of vested interest in Kingo. But I think the biggest accusation is vested interest in Sierra Leone. For those, I said, if we as Sierra Leoneans, sadly, we normally see people as we see ourselves. My professional integrity and ethics stand high. When I took that office, there's a very clear declaration of all my assets. I know what the anti-corruption law is. If you go check the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008 from section 42 to 48, it says everything about conflict of interest is defined. Why is I was at NMA, or why is I on the Ministry of Mines? If there's a decision to be made on behalf of the Ministry of Mines and I don't accuse myself and participate in it, that's conflict of interest. I would just advise you to go and read it from section 42 to 45. It talks about office abuse and other stuff. Now to intelligence, it's not intergens. It's intelligence, integrated to information and oh my God. This company was set up in 2011 for the records. Whilst I was in the UK. Sir, listen. Yeah. Intelligence, I set that up when I was in the UK. After 26 years out of the country, I decided I need to give back. It's set up as a multidisciplinary consulting. Environmental, information systems, flying drones, developing systems, air quality, noise, health information systems. So those who already think, everything you think about in modern technology, be it big data, be it artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. I have young men and young women. The first flying lab in West Africa is established there. 39 staff, pay billions of loans as taxes, which is benefiting you, myself, and others. And I'll make this clear. As a professional, I'm glad that I actually brought up young men and young women against all odds. 39 of them are working there. It's a limited company. So it's completely divorced from the owner. There's a difference between the business manager and the business owner. I own the business, I don't manage it. It has its own managing director. But as a business owner, benefits that accrue to it, I enjoy it fullest. That's why I look like this. And I will encourage so many Sierra Leoneans to be entrepreneurial. There is no law in this country that says if you work for government, you cannot create jobs for young men and young women and train them, motivate them, empower them, and inspire them to be better people. I wish we could do that more. And for those who want to learn more about intelligence, go to Public and Corporate Affairs Commission. The audited financial statements are there. We do it every year, and the records are there. So I hope you sleep well. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say something. I want to say something about. Hello. It is okay to ask a question, and it's also okay to get an answer. This is why we're here. What I encourage every one of us to do is to do so in the spirit of mutual respect and in the spirit of cordiality. We all have one salute. I mean, we're all there. And we're all, I know we might come at this from different angles. I have always said before that sometimes I wonder, you know, the way they treat public officials sometimes is as if overnight you became a thief. Me, I wonder, I ask myself, I said, if people like say, overnight, I don't become a monster. You know? People here run things, their own businesses. I like to tell people my organization I founded and ran and built has a $10 million annual budget. International organization. Headquartered in Sierra Leone. But overnight, I became a minister. It's only been 3 months. If you hear what people talk about me, as if I'm just now this big thief, as if I've just gone, I'm like, do you know how much they pay me as a government minister versus how much I earn in my organization? So I think it's also important on some of these questions that when we cast aspersions on our public officials, not all of us, you know, people who don't wake up one morning no more decide to say what they call. But as I said, it's also okay for you to ask a question if you suspect that there might be reasons for conflict of interest. But when you ask that question, you also are ready for the answer that you get. So let's get our final round of questions. Mr. Minister, let me take the round, and when you come back, you will clarify. Let me take the round. Okay, we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. In that order. That will be our final round. Yes, please, number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I love your last statement about the mutual respect. My name is Donald Keovani, and I'm the chairman of the Guild of Newspaper Editors. And through your office, sir, since you are the Minister of Information, I want to address the Minister of Mines, because his utterances about the media, he like painted a verbal caricature of the media when he started, calling them reckless. And that hasn't done well with the media, especially the newspaper editors here. Thank you. I think that's all I want to make clarification.
All right. Thank you. I'll respond to that, but I'll also give a chance to the minister. Let's finish the rounds. Thank you for speaking up as well. Again, I think friends must speak to each other and must speak so openly and frankly. So let's do that. Continue.
Yeah, Lawrence Williams is the name. I have some few questions.
My brother, when you say few, you make the temperature go up.
No,
so no. So I'm gonna give you time. In 2 minutes, 2 questions.
I'll speak on that some more.
Okay.
There have been rumors or reports in the media about Chinese government wanting to provide $1.5 billion loan to the government of Sierra Leone for the construction of the Lumbi Bridge. Now, I want to know whether that is true or not, and if it is true, how is that tied to the signing of the Kingo agreement? Secondly, we saw signing of contracts with Kingo in the first place, cancellation of the contract, signing with Arise IIP, cancellation of it, signing a new contract as well with Kingo. How does this affect business? I mean, for investors' confidence. And secondly, thirdly, do we have a predictable business and investment climate in Sierra Leone? Fourthly,
my brother, even you said now at some point.
You gave me 2 minutes.
But time is up.
You gave me 2 minutes. The last one. Let me just this last one. We cannot come here and go without knowing fully well what specific actions the government did not take, or what specific actions Arise IIP failed to take that warranted the cancellation of that contract. So, it is but prudent, and granted that there are funds for improved governance in the extractive industry, which the US government provided some time ago. We want to know, Mr. H, please, sir, what specific actions, what are these CPs? Referring us to clause 102, 103, we don't know those words. We want to know, sir, please.
Alright, I pointed at somebody at the back as number 3, yes, gentleman.
Thank you very much. My name is David K. Fengai. I also have a couple of questions here. To the Minister of Transport and Aviation, you emphasize on government running its assets, meaning the rail and the port, and you said 10% capacities of the rail will be used by other partners. My question is, what mechanisms are going to be put in place to ensure we avoid unsafe business practice, considering the collaboration between the key player and other value competitors? The second one says, how often government of Sierra Leone through the Ministry of Mines engage citizens residing in those mining communities in a way of ensuring their human rights and safety is guaranteed? Because there was a day I pointed out one mining company, and I single-handedly pointed out that mining companies because their activities need to be re-examined. Thank you.
Alright, there's a gentleman here. This will be the final round, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Salute Janjalo from the Times SL newspaper. From the draft document that I have read in relation about the government agreement with Kino, the agreement only allows for 10% third-party use. Will this be enough to protect other users? My other question. Recently, Marampa Mines wrote a letter to the Minister of Mines expressing grave concerns about the use of the rail. My question now is, why is the government rushing ahead with the deal when MML has written to the Minister of Mines with concerns that their mining lease agreement is not being considered when drafting the Kino agreement? I need clarification on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a final question from the gentleman.
Good morning, my name is Kande Sise. They normally call me Saloma Lewa. This is a text message that I received, and the person said, let me ask it in Creole because it's watching. So can I go ahead? And the person said, Mr. Minister of Mines, you say that the enemy DG, according to the Mines Act, now in the advise the minister, but now the minister in prerogative power for act. He said, you now be the enemy DG, you advise, now you are the Minister of Mines. Now I don't take the decision. So you know me to say that you will advise, that you push up. Do you understand the question, sir?
I do, and it's fine. I will respond. Okay, now bring the mic. We're done. So yes, please bring the microphone back. We're done. I want to thank you all for these questions. We're going to give a chance quickly to the gentleman at the podium to wrap up, and I'm going to ask you to keep our responses really short. I want to talk about the media and the question of respect. I think, first, if any offense is taken, let me apologize right off the bat. No offense is meant here. Second, I think context is always key. I think what the minister said was clear, that there are indeed some reckless things that have been said. That's